I'm going to
Good. We're
shut
going to
this
move on.
one down for now. Yep.
Okay, we're going to go on to number 3. We spent, like I said, a little bit more extra time on number 2. So number 3, you're going to, all right, he's going to stay with JMagic, and he's going to show you how to create a print transformer rule to basically say, take something that you're printing every single day and email it to some customers where you have an email address. So he's starting up JMagic, connecting to the AS400 this time. It could be any instance, doesn't have to be on the AS400. This is what we chose to do. Connecting to the new user
Yep.
library he just made.
So when we start JMagic now, same as before on the MarkMagic side, you can now pick that new user library that you created and start JMagic in that new user library. That's what I'm doing there.
Very cool.
It's a little bit bigger for you guys.
Looks good.
And I'm going to open up a format that I used in the previous webinar where we talked about using Form Composer to look up extra information from a physical file. If anyone remembers, if it was on the last one, this format is designed pulling data from a held spool file. It's a form, it's a statement form. All these gray fields here pull data from a held spool file. And what we wanted to do was use some information in that spool file to look up information from a database file and bring it into the format. And that's exactly what we did here with this email address, this CS email field. This is actually a database field, and we're using a customer number to grab email information from the database. And if I do a quick print preview here, and we can see the email address being populated of all of our employees here. Chuck's there. There's Phil. So every page here, you can see the email address is changing based on the customer number changing. So that's important to remember. So each page has its own email address. So the neat thing now, what we can use that email address now to trigger an email to happen automatically, and that's done using rules in MarkMagic, JMagic. It's accessible under Print Transformer, Available Rule Sets. This is where the interface is to handle all of that and set all of that up. I've got a rule created here already that we can use as an example. If we look at the rule, edit it. In this first screen here where we set up some general parameters of the rule set itself, there's one important thing. I don't want to get too down into the nitty-gritty, but it's an important thing to remember that each page has its own email address on it. We don't want all 5 pages going to one person and everyone getting the wrong statements. We want each page to go to each email address, and for that to happen, you have to break each page out into its own print command, and you need one PDF for each page rather than one PDF with all 5 in it. So to do that in rules, we call that bursting, and we can break it up or burst against the email address. So for every unique email, there will be one unique PDF created. So that's done here. If we now dig a little bit deeper into the rule itself, we can see that there are options within the rules, and inside of the options is where the fun is. So we look inside the option, resize this a little bit for you guys. Inside of options are the tests and actions. So when a test is true, the actions are performed. And if we look at the test, you can already see it up there, what I've got, but if we drill down a little bit further into editing the test, you can see that I've set the rule up to look at that CS email. Remember, this is data that got looked up from a database. This isn't data on your spool file. This got brought in using another awesome feature in MarkMagic, the Form Composer. So we're going one step further with this and actually using this data. Using the data and rules here. So the email, we're testing it if it contains an @ symbol. Okay. And you can see there's a bunch of awesome little options here. Greater than, less than, equals, doesn't contain, starts with. So there's so many options with this. But for this, we're just checking if the data that's coming in from the database has an @ symbol. And usually we can assume that that's an email address. So when that happens, and this is number 4 now, sort of. So I'm kind of mixing it in here, the option for PDF emailing. When it's an @ symbol, change the job from a regular print job that you normally sending it to a laser printer, change that job just for that instance. Remember, these are being broken up by email. Just for that instance, change it to a PDF email by switching just these few print commands or print parameters. And those, if I list them off here, these are all part of the print label command in MarkMagic. Emulated device needs to be toggled to star PDF. Normally that's star none for when you're just doing regular print jobs. When you do PDFs, you need to specify a path and a file name. So right here we're specifying print to file. This is an IFS path, and then we're putting in the file name .pdf. Another really neat option here in the rules engine is the ability to use live data as print parameters. So I'm actually taking in that customer email address and passing it to the print command using rules here. So we're setting the primary email to CS email. So whatever email address is in there gets passed to the print command. And the rest of these we just flushed it out with a custom email subject, a message body we put in here, and then the sender. So it looks like it's coming from an important email address, info@cyber.com, so people can reply. So just when CS email contains an @ symbol, will the print job switch over to sending an email. And I want to mention to you that it's not that you must use print transformer to send PDF emails. All of these print parameters, print commands, you could just simply take your existing print jobs that you might be running coding the print label command and just toggle these over from star none to PDF and make your own PDFs. So this is just one way to do it without programming, which I feel is really neat.
Yeah.
So I'll hit OK here, and that's the rule. So now when you use that rule, when you print, you'll get an email, and I've got a PDF here, just to show you one that was created, and this was one that went to Phil. So.
Right. And then if for that particular customer, if there was no email address, it would just print like it does now, again, with the zero program. That's just one example. Okay. Okay, and there's a label. You can PDF a label instead of printing it. Yep.
Yep. So
nice.
That's just, you taking your regular print command and setting emulated device to start PDF, and all of a sudden you got your labels as a PDF. Really, really neat stuff.